customer service people of Reddit. What's the dumbest thing a customer has gone out of their way to complain about? Many years back, worked for a store chain which sells all products related and connected to nature. Among them, the Himalayan salt stone lamp. It's a stone made of salt that encases an electrical bulb. It is supposed to help for regulating irons in your home office. A customer called us to complain that their stone disappeared home and asked for a refund. As open-minded as I can be, I however tried to understand what she meant exactly by disappeared. Story is, customer removed the stone from the bulb and put it in her dishwasher to clean it. I had to be super nice with her to make her realizing that salt dissolves in water, especially in hot water, without her getting upset and getting offended. It was a lonely moment. It's the raccoon washing cotton candy video in human form. A guy asked if I was the manager. Can I help you with something? Angrily, yeah. 3 Saturdays in row now I come down here at 4:30, and every frickin' Saturday you close at 4. Yeah, we close at 4. Frick you. At least he left then. The worst ones don't leave. They just keep going. Frick you. The universal response to, I know I lost, I just want to make sure I have the last word so I can feel less embarrassed about my stupidity. I work for a popular roadside assistance company and had a guy call in wanting to get roadside assistance for his daughter who was stranded. His daughter was not on his membership and there was no room to add her because he already had his wife added. So I suggested he remove his wife for now and add his daughter so she can get roadside assistance and then switch them back afterwards. Apparently this was the most outrageous suggestion. He went and told my supervisor that I was making him choose his daughter over his wife and no father should have to make that kind of decision, lol. Could have gotten you in trouble for trying to work the system to his advantage. How do people this stupid even figure out how to work a phone? I was working at Office Max during back to school season. This woman comes up to my register with a few things and I start scanning it in. She notices the one item rang up less than she was expecting. She actually got an attitude with me because we hadn't had a chance to print new shelf tags for that aisle yet. I told her I would wait if she wanted to get more. She declined and continued complaining to me about it. I said, well, I can override the price to what the shelf label said. I realize now that I was being a bit of a bee by saying that. She politely declined that as well, paid with her card, and rushed out the door with her things. I guess this wasn't really an official complaint, but it was pretty dumb. I was running register at the grocery store and this couple got in my line. I could tell they were together because they were talking and interacting with one another. However, they had 2 different baskets and left a small gap between their respective items without placing down the divider. So I wasn't sure if they were paying for everything all together or separately. I say the generic things. Hi, how are you? Did you find everything okay? etc. and then politely asked, together or separate? The lady gave me a death glare and said, why on earth does it matter? I gave her a blank stare and slowly said, so that I know whether to keep ringing you up or cash out the order. All I can think is they must have been having some relationship problems because she jumped right to that. Haha. Worked in an electronics store to put myself through college. I worked in the computer department, but was sitting at the loss prevention desk up front to cover while the LP supervisor took a quick lunch break. An old lady comes in, asks where the dairy section is, and help finding the milk. I told her, kindly, that we weren't in a grocery store. She looks confused and leaves. A couple of minutes later her, presumably, son walks in and starts chewing my butt because I wouldn't help her find the milk. When he was done bitching, I slowly waved my arm across the store and asked him which one of those aisles looks like they might have groceries in them. He stares for a good few seconds and then starts bitching me out saying that I'm an butthole and he wants to see a manager. So I paged the loss prevention supervisor up to the front. The LP supervisor invited the guy to never come back to the store. The store manager was walking by my register as a customer was walking up to check out. My manager said I had to take my break in 15 minutes, to which I said, okay. The customer complained that it was unprofessional for the manager to speak to me and that I was unprofessional to respond when a customer was approaching the register because I needed to be focused on her and greet her appropriately. Well, I normally would, but I am on break. So next, register lady. I used to work at a pizza place with a small dining room. So many people would complain that their pizza was too hot to eat. Of course it is. It just came out of the oven. This is why you chose to drive your dumb ass here to eat instead of having it delivered. Because it's fresh. Fresh pizza is hot. FFS. I work at a bakery and we sell pigs in a blanket for breakfast. A few years ago one of the kinds was a spicy blueberry sausage. It had blueberries inside the sausage link. One day some lady got one, knowing it was a blueberry sausage link, bit into it and noticed some dark looking things inside the sausage link. Surprise, it was a blueberry, but for whatever reason she thought that a flake of black gunk from inside our oven somehow managed to get inside the sausage link. Even after said link was rolled in a croissant, she called the health department on us and tried to get $50 plus of free food. My boss asked her what she ordered. He brought out a link of the sausage to show her and she immediately shut up and left the store. Unfortunately we stopped selling that kind because if one idiot is gonna think that then others will, which is sad because they were pretty good. Gotta love the logic here. There's gross gunk in this food. Give me a bunch more of your food to compensate. Like, she totally knew and was just trying to get free crap. I owned a computer biz for a few years. The one that always got me was this chick that brought in her computer slammed with viruses, spyware, etc. So bad it wouldn't boot. Got it all fixed up and she picked it up. Brought it back the very next day with the same thing. I asked what sites she visited since she picked it up and she, completely unashamed, said oh my BF and I are on P all the time. Okay. I told her I would go ahead and clean it again for free but if she visited those sites I couldn't do it again without charging. Picked it up same day. Back in the next. Me. Did you get back on the P sites her? Of course. I could not make her understand why this kept happening and would continue happening so I just asked her to go somewhere else. Working pizza delivery. One time a guy called in, threatened to kick all our asses and more because we put sticks in his pizza. I told him I would be happy to come pick it up and examine it. We got a lot of fraud calls. People trying to get free crap every day. When I got there his tone changed. I am 6 foot, 270 pounds, and he showed me the sticks in his pizza. You know what they were? He ordered thin crust, and some of the crust broke off onto the pizza. He was nice as can be after I pointed that out. I was a lifeguard for 2-3 years in high school. Every day I would get people complaining about the pool temperature as if I could do something about it. Mom, the pool does not have a heating system. I'm sorry. Larger bodies of water hold their temperature longer, which is why it's so cold. And they would complain all the time. This is your job. You need to fix it. I'm sorry lady. This isn't the Four Seasons Hotel. This is a freaking community pool. It was never young people, always the old ladies who would come in at 5 AM to do water aerobics. I'm a bartender and just last night I came in and I knew something would happen. They are sitting at their table and ask for some margaritas. I go make them and bring them out to the table. He proceeds to tell me here's a Taffa tip. If someone orders a cocktail you should make it in front of them. I replied, well if you were sitting at the bar I could do that. Do you want me to bring the blender out to your table and make your frozen drink for you there? WTH, one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. I got a great one. So I have a small retail business with my mom that's strictly brick and mortar. Normally our return policy is within 21 days for store credit. During the holidays we extend it so that anything purchased between Black Friday and the 24th of December can be returned up until the end of January. A few years ago this guy came in around the end of April trying to return Christmas gifts on dry cleaning hangers. When I told him I wouldn't take it back, even for a store credit, he blew up on me and cussed me out in front of other customers in the store. He then proceeded to leave a 1-star review and bash the store saying how he's never been treated like that before at a store. How TF do people like that exist? Not sure if this is really a complaint but more sheer stupidity. At my first IT job, someone was returning a computer monitor and insisted on speaking with someone from the IT department rather than just leaving it in the cage as they were asked. So I came down to talk with them to see what was going on and she was very adamant that I double check the monitor to make sure all of her information was off of it. This lady literally thought all of her icons, files, and folders were saved directly to the monitor itself and wouldn't leave unless I powered it on to show her. I didn't even bother trying to explain it to her. She seemed extremely rude and it wouldn't even be worth my time. So I literally plugged it into the wall, didn't connect it to anything, and powered it on. See, it's completely blank. You're good to go. She smiled, said thank you, and left. Turn the monitor upside down and shake it gently and tell her it works like an Etch-a-Sketch. I worked at a shoe store and I had a guy come in and ask where he could get some books packed up for free and shipped. I said I wasn't sure and that made Staples would do it because they have an ups area there. He said he already tried there and then he called me a fat butt. I wasn't fat, just very pregnant, because I couldn't be bothered to get off the ladder to help him. I was like, dude, I sell shoes. I don't know what you want from me. He storms out of the store and like 3 years later I'm still super confused about the whole situation. Wish you could have been like, I have an excuse for my fat butt. Don't know what yours is for being a dumbasso. Restaurant with open kitchen, so customers and us cooks can converse freely. Customer wanted crispy fish. Made it really crispy, not done enough. I cooked a new one, literally like 15 minutes on the fryers. I cooked 3 or 4 other orders around it. She then complained that it was too hot and she didn't want it. Too hot? Then wait 5 freaking minutes to eat it, you goddamn moron. A lady ordered a sandwich and then cancelled her order because she thought it took too long. Someone else from the party she was having called and made an order. We made it and delivered it without issue. Same lady calls back appalled that we would allow one of her guests to order from us after she made it very clear she wanted to cancel her own order. It's not my business if other people at her party want to order food and I had no idea it was her party anyway. I told her it was very common for multiple deliveries to go to the same house party. Why wouldn't we make them sandwiches? She then told me I would obviously never amount to anything in life and she was going to make a formal complaint against me. It was such a weird complaint. It was probably 10 years ago but it still bugs me sometimes. I'm sorry it still bugs you sometimes, but that story really cracks me up. Worked at a coffee shop that wasn't Starbucks. Frappuccino is a trademarked word for Starbucks blended coffee drinks. When customers would ask for frappuccinos we would just put in the order as what we called it and let them know the name for it at our store so they would recognize it when the barista called it out. Had a woman get so upset she was screaming all over the word frappuccino. According to her it was the traditional Italian word for a blended coffee drink. It's not, and we obviously thought she was stupid to tell her otherwise and how dare we insult her like that. Tried to calm her down and just say we called them something else but it would be a similar drink. Didn't even correct her about the rest. She continued to flip out and literally looked up and called our corporate customer service line in front of us, holding up the rest of the line to have them tell her the same thing. She then started screeching to demand to talk to the president of our company and started knocking stuff off our countertop. That's when we called security to escort her the frick out of our store. Imagine her home life. Yikes. That I was using a cash register instead of using my brain to calculate money. Someone complained I was Asian and I shouldn't be working here because of that. I once had a customer come in and the following ensued. Customer: hi, I am here to return this power washer. Me: sure you have your receipt? C: well, I bought it as is 2 years ago. I used it for the first time last year and it didn't work. I saw it this weekend cleaning the garage. I'd like my money back. M: yeah, we can't do that. This product is 3 years old and was sold as is. C: angry tone, oh yeah buddy? What kind of freaking store is this then? Let me talk to a manager. Manager proceeds to give them store credit for the amount of a brand new one. I put my 2 weeks in shortly after. Dang spineless managers. When I was at DirecTV I received a call from a man whose sole purpose was to complain that this is the United States and there should not be a Spanish option in the automated call tree. I worked at Subway in high school and a customer demanded to speak to a manager because her $5 footlong was not exactly $5. I tried explaining to her that sales tax is normal and $5.35 is the price of anything after tax that is $5. She continued to yell and cuss at me. She even specifically stated she does not have to pay a tax. It was at that moment I accepted that there was no being rational with some people. When the grocery store I work at used to make made to order hoagies, we'd have a regular customer that would order an 18 inches sub and measure it every time. It always got the same amount of meat. If it was shorter than 18 inches she'd say she was getting ripped off, and if it was longer than 18 inches she'd get mad that her meat would be spread out too thin. A few years ago I was cashier at a retail store. A pregnant woman came up and said that she was trying to leave but couldn't get into her car because a truck was parked very close to her. I paged the driver of the truck up to the cash desk. The truck driver, a middle-aged woman, came up, and she and the pregnant woman got into an argument because truck lady didn't want to leave her shopping to go move her truck. I didn't get involved and continued to cash out customers, and eventually truck lady moved her car so the pregnant lady could go home. Later as I was cashing out the truck lady, she asked to speak to my manager. Afterwards my manager told me that she was complaining about me because at some point she said it looked like I nodded. So I was clearly siding with the pregnant lady. My manager said I told her I'd talk to you about it. So here I am talking to you about it and just left it at that. Classic one from my younger days was working escalation support at a regional ISP. Basically the people who if you demand a supervisor you get sent to escalation. Call notes from previous agent. Elderly person very angry issues with their bill and can't find the account. Within 30 seconds of talking with them I determined that their issue was not with phone or internet, what we sold, but with their cell phone, which we don't sell or provide. A hardware issue with their cell phone. They can't pull an account because they don't have service with us. It took me 10 minutes to get this old man off the phone and only because he gave me a great line to respond to. Old man, what do I even pay you people for if you won't help me with this? Tada. So you don't pay us I'm pretty sure because we don't provide service for or sell any cell phones. We do home phone and internet only at regional ISP. We don't provide service for cell phones. Old man. Angry noises threats of BBB complaints. Tada. I understand your frustrations a bit if Papa John's gets your order wrong it won't help you to complain to the Taco Bell manager. Old man. Dawning comprehension. Mumbled comment about I should be nicer and hang up sound. Customer was sent a bill in an envelope with a plastic window part for the address and called to complain that our company was single-handedly, her words, destroying the planet by sending so much plastic through her door. Turns out she'd had several letters as she was significantly behind in payments and there was a previous complaint on her records where she had insisted all correspondence must be by post. SMH. Literally could not win with the woman. Never thought of using environmental issues as a way to get out of paying my bills before. We couldn't get a $5 coupon to scan so we just took it off in another way and she ranted and raved because she didn't like how it was going to look on the receipt. Legit yelled at one of my cashiers for this. I'll never understand. When I worked at Walmart there was a point that the register tracked items per minute and you could pause the tracking and get high numbers by totaling and pressing check or something so it expects payment. This also adds a subtotal with the sales tax. Had an old man say I charged him tax like 6 separate times and wouldn't understand it was a running total and not individual charges. Working in sales I had to deal with stupid people on a very regular basis. The worst was a very well-off Middle Easterner who owned several fast food restaurants in our area. 7 of them all from the same chain. He came in twice a week for 13 months and complained that we were lying about the prices we had and that we were buttholes for ripping people off on their new cars. Month 13 he came in saying he could get a new 2017 Corolla. I knew the sales guys at the local Toyota dealership well, and we all got along. For less than our 2018 Civic Touring. Yeah no crap, it was a base model. They were cheaper. I walked into my manager's office, closed the door and asked if I could have the use of my one get the frick out and don't come back for the quarter. He looked at me and said you're cool. I walked out, told the guy that he could either buy a car from me or get the frick out and not come back. Because I was done being jerked around and having my time wasted when I could be dealing with real qualified customers. He bought a car from me that afternoon. 3 years later he still has it. For that I think you should get your quarterly GTFO option back. The best is always people who aren't using your services or paying you for anything but demanding your time and attention. Work at a vet's office part-time and every shift someone calls in asking about some random medication or another vet clinic when we insanely busy. We see roughly 40-50 pets a day and demand that I look up phone numbers and pricing for other clinics. People act like smartphones and the internet onto their disposal. The best was one time this lady called because she found a wild rabbit and wanted us to give it an exam. Explained to her to put the rabbit back outside as it could have a number of diseases and it's not safe to keep a wild animal in your house. Also, we don't see anything other than cats and dogs. She then demanded I look up a vet's office that did take wild animals. Told her mom, "We are very busy and this is a personal issue and you are the client. I will not do research for you. Have a great day." She then left us a 1-star Yelp review and tried to write a complaint to the Better Business Bureau. Not quite customer service, but I work for a contractor and take care of any warranty work that may arise. Fix leaks, replace blown off shingles, loose siding, etc. I am amazed at the leaps in logic people make trying to get us to replace things around their house that have nothing to do with the work we have done there. My favorite was someone wanted us to replace their washing machine because it broke after we put a new roof on their house. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.